Welcome to the Why Not Today podcast, where we celebrate courage, determination, and the power of saying, Why not today? I'm your host, Leslie Kane. Each episode, we dive into inspiring stories of individuals who have taken bold steps, faced their fears, and embraced the possibility of today. From entrepreneurs to artists, dreamers, and doers, we explore the moments when they say, Enough waiting, why not today? Join me as we uncover the heartwarming, the audacious, and the transformative, whether it's pursuing a lifelong passion, overcoming obstacles, or simply choosing joy. Our guests share their journeys and inspire us all. I started this podcast in honor of my father, Patrick Kane, who often said, Why not today? Remember, you're just one decision away from changing your life. And I'm excited today for my guest, which we've never met in person, but Alicia Harrison. I'm going to hopefully get her name right. My sister has the same name, spelled the same name, pronounced differently. But Harrison with Flip the Chick, which is funny. I need to introduce you to another friend of mine who has a podcast, Flip the Chip.
Oh,
Talks about
potato chips?
no, nail polish. She actually
Oh,
started
nice.
she
Yes.
started she has several books around being bodacious.
Awesome.
And she one of the chapters is live like the color of your nail polish.
Oh,
And
I
so
love
she
that.
started a whole podcast, and she's been on my podcast. Her name is Mary Foley. It's called Flip the Chip. And the chip
Awesome.
happens, and we need to have to take a new path. So, okay, total
I
squirrel there.
I love
But
that. It's kind of
so
fun.
Alicia, I met, and I love to how the connections are. I have a friend of mine who's been on the podcast as well, Tamara, who lives in Florida. And I guess you guys kind of met by accident too. She went to an event, if I remember correctly, an event with a friend. The friend didn't show up, and you met and hit it
Yeah.
off. And so she introduced me to you, and I love what you stand for. I love your vision boards. Of course, you got one at your shoulder. Um, the things you've done, and we could probably talk for hours. So I'm going to
Mhm.
have you quickly introduce yourself and a fun fact about you, and then we'll talk about courage.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me, Leslie. I do appreciate it. And meeting through Tamara was amazing because she's a client of mine in the Flip This Chick program. And she actually not only is doing great herself, she invited another friend to be part of it. And that friend has had the most amazing impact on her life that I'm like, wow, Tamara was meant to connect all these people and places. So she's pretty incredible, and I'm so excited
She
to
hasn't even been
get to
working
be
with
her
you that
friend. What was that?
She hasn't even been working with you that long, has she?
No, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks. And we met because she came to a fun book club event that we did to just tour some murals and stuff here in Sarasota. And
Cool.
yeah, it was very cool. So
All right.
anyway,
So let's
I
hear about you.
appreciate that. So I want to tell you that I am a women's health coach. I coach women who are in the struggles of menopause, perimenopause, and beyond, because I have a history in personal training. I ran the training division of health clubs, but got out of that when I moved to Florida. I was just in real estate and model design and things like that. When menopause hit me and put
Mhm.
on 25 pounds, I was like, okay, wait, I need to revisit this other stuff. And I was eating right and doing all the things. And so the fact that it affected me, I knew it must be affecting a lot of other women
We were
too.
just talking about that earlier today about how the things in our life that happen to us propel us into businesses.
Yes, and to
And
helping somebody else.
yeah,
The goal really
exactly.
is to serve others. Like that's why we're put on this earth, is to
Yep.
serve others.
Yep.
And
So
so if we can find a way to be passionate about it and do it, that's cool. But I am a mother of four boys. I have four grandkids, another one on the way next month, and
any
I live
girls?
here in Sarasota. I have three girls
Oh,
and
good.
one little boy, and we don't know what's coming next. So we're
Okay,
anxiously
that's
waiting,
exciting.
but we'll take
Congratulations.
anything. They're all the light of my life.
Aw,
And so I live here in Sarasota, Florida with my boyfriend who's from Boston, and he has four kids too.
oh,
So we
wow.
live our lives in motion, simply
Yeah,
making
I'm
sure
sure.
we don't miss anything, but we have a great life of our own too.
That's awesome.
So
So what's a fun fact about you?
fun fact about me is that I have ran more than a dozen marathons, and I did the 6 world major marathons, which include London, Boston, New York, Chicago, Berlin, and Tokyo,
Wow.
all in the span of my 40th decade. And so that is really cool. And regardless of what turmoil my life brought, a divorce and a move across the country and different things, I stayed focused on that goal. And 4 months before my 50th birthday, I earned the 6-star medal as
That's
I crossed the
awesome.
Boston finish line. So that's
Love that.
something really cool, and
Yeah.
helps me just keep trudging
I
forward,
love people's
healthy.
inspiring stories. I had
Mhm.
episode, I think it was 20, was, and I only remember that because I was just with her, Chris Howard, who hiked the Appalachian Trail. And she just spoke at
Right.
a luncheon that I had and talked about the lessons she learned
That is
doing
amazing.
that. And yeah, so many cool things. So let's talk about courage. So obviously it took courage to do that.
Yeah.
And courage to, I know you have good courage stories, but what's the definition of courage?
So honestly, like I'm sure you hear from many when you ask this question, I believe courage is just doing something afraid. But Hal Elrod, in his book, The Miracle Equation, says it best: having unwavering faith and putting forth extraordinary effort. That is
Yeah.
exactly what courage is to me.
Yep. I read that book and I have quoted that often.
Yes, I
The
live by
mantra.
that. And I'm like, the times in my life when real miracles happened, it was because that's exactly what I was doing,
Yeah.
having unwavering faith, but putting forth extraordinary effort.
That's
You,
awesome.
you got to back it up. So,
So when we talked the other day, we had lots of different things in your courage of life.
mhm.
But one of the things I loved is how you took a health issue of yours, turned it and let's talk about that story of how you like figured out how to help yourself and then how you were kind of forced through losing a job into creating a business. And I love how you just were able like, okay, this is the income I need to replace and this is how fast I need to do it. And you did it. So let's talk
Yeah.
about those courage stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all have courageous things that happen in our life, and they all
Absolutely.
happen out of by accident, right? We don't like run out there and decide, oh, I'm going to be courageous today. We're like, no, I'd rather not need to be courageous
Yeah.
today, actually. We just want to have a good, normal day. But when things happen, you decide, wait, what am I going to dig into here? And whenever you do talk about the career that I'm in now as a health coach, I was propelled into that because one day I got an email that said, "Hey, today can we just hop on, a call?" But before I got that call, some of the things that were going on in my life was, like I said, when menopause hit me and I put on 25 pounds, I was like, I got to figure out something different. And having a background in personal training, I gave it a shot and I'm like, hey, I want to figure something out that's quick and just gets me right back. I need to get in sync because I'm not even recognizing myself. I don't feel good. I go in the closet and I'm not happy about what I put on. I have to change 7 times. I can't wear, anything that now I'm like square and I was never square. And I'm like, what is happening? And so I really did say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to just put my head in and create my own program instead of creating it for a client like I would have in the past. And so I did. I started, and 4 weeks in, I failed. Like I just didn't keep doing it, and I was like, "What? What? I know what to do. I know how to do it. I know, like, geez." And so I just walked off.
That
I'm like,
fear
okay,
is
whatever.
stopping us,
Yeah,
you
something's up.
know?
And so
Yeah.
I dug a little deeper and I put in place a few more things: accountability, gratitude, and things like that. Instead of just what am I eating and how am I moving, I added in these elements that are now part of the Flip the Chick program. And I tried again. And by week 6, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, this is a thing. Like, holy cow. I just went and bought a pair of shorts in the regular section. I didn't have to go to a store where the clothes go straight up or they don't have zippers. And, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And so I then said, wait, but here I am. Either this is a do or die. Like, either I say right now, you guys, I created this thing and here's what's happening. I have to do it in real time
Right.
or I don't get to do it because, it's going to lose its vigor if I'm not doing it like that. So I'm like, all right, then I need to start talking about it. And so I did. I went on social media and I started saying, oh my gosh, here I am doing this. And 2 weeks from today, I am going to launch a new program, one I put myself through. So keep an eye out. That was it. I had to do it now, right?
And that's
And
how my brain works. Somebody
yeah,
asked me one time, is if you're the type of person that you make a decision for something, you set the date and then you plan it, or do you, or you plan it and then set the date, or you plan it, set the date and then just make it happen. I'm like, I am
right.
so like, I'm going to put it out there and then I'm going to figure it out.
Yes, say yes and figure out how, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
And
you've
that is
got to, or
courage.
it'll just never happen.
Yeah.
So, yep. So I put those wheels in motion. And that last day, I threw a big party, had everybody over, and was like, okay, this was fantastic. Here's what this was. And I started talking about it. And I introduced it as the Flip This Chick program. It was going to be an 8-week program, and here's what's going on. And I was working though. I worked from home and I was doing, 45 hours a week on my computer and doing that. But every day I took a few minutes to pick up my vision board that and look at it and really believe like, here's what I want in my life. I want to be helping women feel more connected. I want to get out there and be active. I want to do all these things. And I would pick up my vision board once a day. I set a timer, and it's part of what we do too. I set a timer once a day and I just took a minute, but I would physically pick it up and hold it and like look through all the things, and on there is like writing a book and creating Flip This Chick and Soul Designers is a group I put together that we do a walk and talk on Wednesdays. All these things that were like really important to me. And I'd pick it up every day and look at it. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to stand for. And that went about for like 3 weeks. And comes a Friday, my boss sends me a note and says, hey, can you hop on a call at 4 o'clock? I'm like, sure. That's not unusual. By 4:05, I didn't have a job.
Wow.
I didn't not only have a job, the paycheck I got that day was going to be the last one I got.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wait, what? No warning. That no, we're just eliminating the position. I'm like, not just put me in a different department. Like, nope. So I was like, wait, okay, wait. That means this paycheck I'm getting today would cover the next 2 weeks, right? And then I get another paycheck that's not coming, but that gives me 2 weeks, right? Like, okay, I can live for 2 weeks. Breathe, Alicia. You're going to be okay. You're getting today's paycheck and just calm down and figure out what's next. And so I spent that weekend really wrapping my head around, you know, I've been wanting to do this other stuff anyway. Maybe this was just gifted to me. So I now have the time to do the things I'm passionate about. Alicia, look at this as a gift and make it happen. And actually, one of my kids said, every time I hear somebody loses a job, I say, congratulations. And
Well,
I'm like,
it's so interesting
you're
you say
right.
that. And you looked at it from, okay, this is a blessing. Thank goodness you already kind of had an idea.
Mhm.
And it may have taken years for you to launch it if you were still getting that paycheck. One, you didn't have the time, and two, you didn't have the
Right,
why or the have to.
right, right.
And so having to have that have to sometimes, we always hear God closes the door to open a window.
Mhm.
Um, and you have to get it done. I always talk about time or activities expand for the time we have available. If you have
Mhm.
all weekend to clean your house, then how
Right.
long does it take you to clean your house? All week. Your
Absolutely.
mother-in-law is showing up in 20 minutes. How long does it take you? 20 minutes. And
Right.
so, the time's going to, it could have taken you years to get it off the ground, but you had a big why. And,
Mhm.
before, I don't know, you may have said, oh, I'm tired or the sun's out. I want to go to the beach or we have all these excuses. but it sounds like you just put your head down and you're like,
Yeah.
I got to get this done.
Well, I had to. I had exactly 2 weeks to get myself a paycheck for
Yeah.
the next Friday paycheck, right? So I did. I put my head down and said, one thing in reflecting on that was that very weekend I was chatting with my dad about it and saying, I think it's cool that now I have the time. And I picked up my vision board as I was talking to him, and I said, wow, the only thing not on this board this year is my job.
Wow.
I'm like, Dad, I think I might have done this myself.
Mhm.
I spend a minute every day looking at all the things I wanted. And years past, my vision board had that job on there and how much I wanted to earn and what I wanted to do in that. And I left it out. It wasn't anything I wanted to be part of anymore.
That's
And
awesome.
so I knew then that I was like, no, this is definite. I just need to figure out how.
Hmm.
So I put my head down. Put up a website. I got on GoDaddy. I'm like, how do I do this? In 24 hours, I created a website and hunting and pecking myself. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to actually make the program like a written program. And I know how to train clients, but I had already always done it in person. I didn't ever have to write something down. And so it was a matter of like, wow, I got to create a PDF, and then I got to have time to talk about it. I got to find the people. And so I gave myself a week to create the website and the PDF. And then I said, all right, I've got to have that done by Monday so that I have Monday to find the clients. And it would take me 5 clients to replicate the paycheck that I would have had the next Friday. And so I'm like, this is do or die. That's what has to happen. And it's exactly what happened.
Wow.
And the next month I had 5 more clients. And I was like, why am I saying 5?
Exactly. You need
Wait,
more.
wait, yeah. I'm like, I gotta up the ante here. Why am I doing this? I'm actually putting myself in a box. And you can't. You have to
Mhm.
decide, like, yes, we can just do it right this minute, and we're limitless. We really are.
And with this world of, you know, Google and YouTube, you can figure out anything. There's somebody that wrote a book about everything's figure outable. I mean,
Right? Marie
when COVID
Forleo.
happened and we had to figure out
Yes.
virtual, it's like we put the time to figure it
Yeah.
out. And
Yeah.
and I love your thing about deadlines. That having that deadline, and I work very well with deadlines. Like, okay,
Mhm.
that has to be done by tomorrow, and it'll be done by tomorrow. A
Right.
couple of weeks ago, I was going out of town, and I'm like, all right, a couple of things that have been on my to-do list forever. I'm like, they've got to get done. And,
Yes.
and when we have a deadline and a hard deadline,
Mhm.
we get those things done.
Yeah. I've learned a lot from Brendan Burchard.
I love him.
He has an app, the Growth Day app.
Have
And
you gotten it?
yes, I listen to him every morning.
Okay.
But one of the things he says, and I have taken this to heart this year, is he encourages us to create Friday finishers. And so that at the beginning of your week, you decide what is it that's primary needs to be accomplished before Friday. And you know what? If your life is crazy and you don't remember to even come up with them, and suddenly it's 1 o'clock on Thursday or noon on Friday, you're like, wait, I need some, what do I actually have to have finished by the end of the workday today? You know? And that I've been doing that. And that's pretty cool. It is that deadline where when you're self-employed, or you work from home and you're even employed by someone else, or you can always do it tomorrow, right?
Right. And that's why one of the reasons I travel a lot is because
Hmm.
I am self-employed and I can work all the time. And,
Right,
again, that time expands. And so
right,
I travel and I'm like, okay, before I leave, this, and this has to be done. I
exactly.
don't know about you, but before vacation too, when
Yep.
you're going on vacation, all these things that have been on your to-do list forever that
Mhm.
have nothing to do with the vacation. Like I remember one time
Right.
it was get some jewelry fixed. I'm like, who really
Yep.
cares? But it's like, all right, clear all the
Get
stuff
you a
out.
deadline. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also learned long ago, my kids range from 23 to 35 years old. And so 35 years ago, I learned that as my kids would leave to go to their dads, I'm like, instead of spending the whole weekend while they're gone cleaning, I finally said, I'm going to make sure the house is clean. So when I deliver them, it's clean the whole time. And
Yeah.
I can just enjoy my
Good
quiet
for
time. And the
you.
house stays that way, right? So that those are some of the things you've got to put a limit on yourself. It's the same as when I decided to run the marathons. I was 39 years old. I did the first one, and I'm like, wait, you know what? I'm doing the 6 world majors in this decade between 40 and 50. If you don't give yourself parameters when the world is so big and there are no limits, you won't always get something done.
Yeah.
You've got to say, why not today? Right?
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I'm so passionate about this message that we
Hmm.
just need to do the things. And I keep hearing so many incredible stories of people and the things they've done and just that.
Yeah.
And it's also that pivotal moment that it's like I said in the introduction, enough is enough. Like I'm
Right.
drawing the line in the sand. And I actually, a couple months ago, or a month or so ago, I was having a frustrating day about something and it snowed. And I literally, with my boots, put a line in the snow and walked over it. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
done, you know? And
I love it.
so, having to have those lines
Mhm.
and those deadlines. And I
Yeah.
really think I do this podcast for me because I get so much good coaching, training, stories, inspiration. So let's go to that subject of with the flip the shit chick.
Mhm.
um, what are some tips? Because a lot of my audience is women or are
Mhm.
women and they're at that age of menopause. So what are some of the tricks and tips that you teach in your program? And I know you do the accountability part, that Tamara
Yes, of course.
actually had to have an accountability partner. So we had to stay in touch, which was cool because it kind of
Mhm.
pulled me in. So share what are your top tips of things that we should be doing as women over 40, 50?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So with Flip This Chick, I use the acronym to kind of talk about exactly what we do. And that is we make fitness fun, we do low intensity cardio, we incorporate protein, elevate that, and create connections. I make sure women are learning how to honor themselves, treating themselves as if they're worthy, because L'Oreal taught us that decades ago, but do we really treat ourselves that way?
Okay, I'm going to
Sometimes.
interrupt you really quick about your
Mhm.
worthy. Do you know about Jamie Kern
Yeah,
Lima and her
yeah,
book that just came out called
yeah,
Worthy? And
yes.
she worked for L'Oreal after she sold It Cosmetics.
Oh, I
So
did
did
know
you know you
I
just
did know
pulled
she
all
did
that
It
together?
Cosmetics. I didn't realize she was with L'Oreal before
Well,
that.
no, she wasn't before. The
Oh,
story's pretty
oh,
incredible that
yeah,
she had rosacea and so started a cosmetic company and sold it for 1.2 billion.
yes. I
Um,
have read her book, It.
then
Yeah,
became the CEO, but she just
yeah.
came out with a book this week called Worthy. So you just hit
Yes, I
all the
saw that
point.
it was launching. Yeah,
Yeah. So sorry
absolutely.
for interrupting. So, all
No,
right.
that's okay. It'll be on the top of my list because part of the Flip This Chick program is that we incorporate some books that you could listen to audio or whatever. But the Worthy Project is
I
one that's
ordered
been
that
on
after
the
talking to
before.
you.
Yes.
I've been
And
reading that.
then the Miracle Equation, Mel Robbins, a lot of different things. But anyway, some of the things I really recommend women do at this phase in our life, one is get more protein. They have proven that just getting enough protein can help change your body composition. But you have to know how much is enough, right?
Hmm.
So I work with women on getting their macros correct. And macros is just fancy terminology for protein, carbs, and fat.
Yep.
Micronutrients are the vitamins in there. So, but to not be, you know, intimidated by what people are talking about, just find out what is it that your body needs. If your body gets what it needs, it'll get rid of what it doesn't. And that means we can actually shed belly fat. We work with strength training. It is so important. And I do love that they are finally talking about muscle centric medicine as a way to actually heal your body and stay healthy. Thank God. This is finally a conversation, and they're not saying, oh, no, don't do that. Take a pill. And so I am grateful that that's in the limelight now. And that's what we do. It's an 8-week program. I now this January launched a 12-month program too, because I had so many women who had done the 8-week program that were like, I just want you along my side for a while. I'm like, okay. So that's pretty cool. So we have a combination of women doing both, but we meet every Monday night to do that. And then I meet one-on-one with clients and we do an individualized program, really what works for them. We decide how does eating right look to you. I'm not trying to make them suddenly start cooking 45-minute meals 3 times a day. And I'm like, no, I live quick. I live in motion. And if that's how you live, I can help you with that too. If you want to cook slow, that's cool. Have at it. I have tons of recipe books on my website and things like that too. But it is so important that women have a guideline for what really is right for our body at this point. Because look, I was running hours a day, because I was training for a marathon. At 52, I did an ultra marathon and I still put on 25 pounds.
Yeah.
So
There's so
it's
much
not that
bad
you're
information.
not moving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, learning the new things. And as, we're different ages, we need to do different things.
Right.
I'm not going to
And that's
dive
why we
deep into
say,
this, but have you seen the news about what Weight Watchers is doing?
no.
I was I was listening to a podcast that ended and it popped into another one. And I guess they're apologizing that it said it worked for some people, but not everybody.
Oh,
I didn't
good.
listen to the whole thing, but they're talking about how medicine makes a difference and they're
Oh,
starting
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
those,
Yeah, the first conversations we
those
have
drugs
are,
that are so popular.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
I'm not going diving deep. As I said, I don't want to deep dive in there, but
yeah.
so I love the stuff you're doing. And I love what I'm hearing is so much inspiration. It's not just eat this, don't eat this, exercise, but it's the vision boards, it's the
Mhm.
books, it's the
Mhm.
encouragement, it's the community that you're creating and the connections and the
The
walk.
mindset, the
It is.
mindset is
All
huge.
those things are so important. And when you surround yourself with like-minded people, it's going to
Mhm.
feed and give you more motivation.
Right. And of course, women lose weight, which is exciting. They feel better, their body starts to change shape, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe my clothes fit different." And they kind of get surprised. I'm like, "I told you it would work."
Mhm.
But I have to tell you, this group of women that we have going on right now, because we do it 8 weeks at a time. So they're in week 7 right now. And last week when we met on Monday, and we always start by sharing your wins and challenges for the week, one win and one challenge. And I am telling you that by week 6, what they're talking about is no longer about weight. What they're talking about is how their life is different.
Yeah.
And it is the most beautiful thing and so gratifying. And, one of the gals was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a new boyfriend and he's into fitness. So we're going for bike rides and we're doing this." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And, she
I think
had
I
just started dating, and then another gal is a realtor and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I sold a house and I got a new buyer. And I haven't for a long time." And I'm like, "You guys, here's the thing. The people at the top of the heap in every industry across the board all prioritize their health.
Yep.
That is non-negotiable for people who are performing at their best. So if you just stop what you're doing dead in your tracks and put your health and wellness first, the rest of your life will get more beautiful. It just can't not.
And I was talking to somebody the opposite the other day who husband was sick and she was a caregiver.
Mhm.
And she's in some sales and she said that when she was being a caregiver, of course
Yeah,
she wasn't taking care of herself. And
right,
her,
right, right.
like the presentation she's always done that worked so well, she was
Mhm.
getting nothing. And
Yeah.
then unfortunately passed away and she started taking care of herself and
Mhm.
doing things that give her joy. And the exact same presentation is getting her sales.
Yes.
You don't
Yeah.
realize, you think, oh, not, I'm still doing the exact same thing, but
Right.
your energy is so different.
Yes, absolutely. And
Uh,
it really is key. It just makes me so proud to see it and be like, "Look, this." And, sometimes the caution is, "Well, do you think I'll keep doing it?" I'm like, "Look, you're going to keep doing it because it actually
it
changed your
works,
life. Of course, you're going to do it." And the simple, healthy habit shifts that we make it possible,
right? It's
And
not a life changing, like you can never, as soon as somebody says you can never again, then I'm like, give me all that I can get. our
Right.
brain is so well, we
Right.
could talk about this subject all day long. And one of the things I keep thinking we're going different ways with this podcast is to do some more deeper dives with
Mhm.
some of my guests and give people a little more concrete. So we might do that. But so
Mhm.
before we part, how would you encourage somebody to be courageous, to do the things, to quit the job, to start the business, to get their health in line?
Here's the thing. When I knew we were going to talk about that, I just want to remind everybody that everybody who is being successful right now, everyone you see in the limelight, everyone you know that is achieving the things they intend, they all started somewhere. Nobody begins as an expert in
No,
anything. No, I'm not a plumber. I'm not going to fix my sink. I don't expect to know how to do it. If you aren't someone who has the background in health and fitness, you shouldn't expect yourself to know how to handle it. We
no,
have to stop thinking, oh, I should be able to do this myself. I can handle, I can do it. I'll just, stop eating as much and move more. And the reality is, that's not it. You need more of the right food. You don't
yep,
need less. And you need the right type of movement. So it's so important whether you have goals that are set in business or in finances or relationships. Understand everyone begins as a novice and it's okay. Reach out and ask for somebody to help you
yeah,
because you have to start somewhere or get a book or listen to a podcast, but know that you have to just begin afraid and you need to start today.
yeah, exactly. Why
Mom
not today?
never comes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
It's true.
yeah, so true. All the lessons that we need to do,
Mhm.
all those things. So,
Yes.
yeah, great information. So, how does somebody find you, Miss Alicia? Did I say it
Well,
right?
you can find me lots of places. Flip This Chick is on every social platform, but I am on Instagram at fitover50.flipthischick. Now, I want everyone to know that it's not because you have to be over 50 to join this movement. It's that I'm over 50, I'm 55. And so that's why I call it Fit Over 50.
Love it.
So wherever women don't always hit perimenopause or menopause or start to notice these shifts at a certain age. So I don't like to put an age number out there. It's whenever what you've been doing in the past is no longer working for you, that's when you need to make the shift. Okay. It can range anywhere from 35 to 65. But if what you're doing isn't working and you're frustrated, that's when you should look me up.
Love it.
and
And I love all your enthusiasm.
and
And
you can
how
find
you
me
really
also
care.
you can also find me at flipthischick.com. That
Right.
is a good spot to just go dig in more about all the programs and stuff too.
Right. Well, thank you for being my guest and sharing. And I can't wait to dive deeper. Every time I do one of these, I'm like, I don't want to be rude and taking notes the whole time and looking down, but
Yes,
I need to go back and it's a master class for me and
right.
go back and pull all the information out. But thank you for being my guest. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us for this inspiring journey. Remember, every day is an opportunity to take action, chase your dreams, and make a difference. So why not today? You can subscribe, share, and keep pushing forward. The podcast is on all the podcast places. The website is whynottodaypodcast.com. And we just started a new Facebook group, the Why Not Today community, where we're going to start doing some fun extra things. So until next time, stay motivated and keep making things happen. So thanks, and thanks for listening or watching.
Thanks for having me. I'll catch you on the flip side.
All right.